The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's just different, and different isn't always better. They thought they found someone better. They believed replacing you was easy. They looked at you, then at the next person, and made a choice as if they were swiping left on something priceless. Here's what they don't see yet. Regret is slow, but it always shows up. And when it does, oh my friends, it will hit them like a train. Before we dive deeper into this, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. Today we're not just talking about why they'll regret it. We're discussing why you were never the one who lost. Hey folks, imagine this. You walk into a fancy restaurant and see a guy sitting there with a plate of hot, homemade, perfectly cooked steak. It's flavorful, rich in history, and has all the good stuff. But suddenly, the waiter walks by with a plate of something new. Some trendy, overpriced, fancy-looking dish. Just like that, he pushes away his steak, takes a bite of the new dish, and at first it tastes amazing, different, exciting, but then it starts tasting bland and fake. The steak he left behind was real. It was quality, but now it's gone. That's exactly what just happened to you. They traded something solid, rare, and real for something that merely looked good in the moment. Trust me, my friends, that's a mistake they won't realize right away, but they will see it. Right now, they're riding the high. They're in the honeymoon phase, feeling special, feeling like they made the right choice. They think they won. But let me tell you something. Dopamine is a liar. It makes people chase the new instead of appreciating the valuable. It leads them to believe that just because something feels good now, it will feel good forever. But here's the truth. What starts fast ends fast, and what's built on impulse crumbles just as quickly. Right now, they think they've upgraded, but they don't see the cracks forming yet. They don't see the silent doubts creeping in. They don't see that moment, and it's coming, where they start comparing and realizing that what they left behind was actually the best thing they ever had. And let me tell you what's really going to mess them up. It's not your anger, it's not your sadness, it's not your reaction, it's your silence. They expect you to cry, to watch, to break. But the moment you do nothing, the moment you vanish, focus on yourself, and keep living like they never even mattered, that's when the regret begins. Because people don't panic when they see you suffering. They panic when they see you thriving without them. Here's where it gets real fun. They're going to test the waters, as they always do. A random like on your poster, hey, how have you been? At 1 a.m., a little breadcrumb just to see if you'll bite. Because now, they miss the meal they threw away. But by then, my friends, you'll be too far ahead to care, because you are not an option. You are not a backup plan. You are not something to be replaced. You were never the one who lost. So say it with me. I am irreplaceable. Write it in the comments. Own it. Live it. Ease. If you're ready to hear exactly why their new situation is doomed, stay with me. We're just getting started. Now, let's talk about the illusion of an upgrade. People don't leave for better, they leave for different, and different isn't always better. They thought they found something new, something exciting, something that makes you look like the past, and this new person look like the future. Right now it feels like they upgraded, like they left you behind as if you were just a stepping stone on their way to something greater. That thought is eating you alive. But let me tell you something. What looks good at first isn't always what lasts. Imagine this. You're in a store holding a solid, expensive, well-built watch. It's reliable, timeless, and something that could last a lifetime. But then, out of the corner of your eye, you see something else. A flashier, shinier, trendy watch. It's got bright colors, new features, promises of being the best thing ever. So in that moment of impulse, You trade in the real thing for something that just looks better. At first, it feels like a great decision. It's new, exciting, different. But give it time, because slowly you start noticing the cheap parts, the uncomfortable fit, the little things that don't work like they should. Then it hits you. The watch you gave up was the real deal, and now it's gone. That's exactly what's happening here. They didn't find someone better. They just found someone new. And newness fades. Right now, your mind is playing tricks on you. You're wondering, what if this person is actually better than me? What if they love them more? What if I was never enough in the first place? But let me tell you a truth that no one ever talks about. People who jump from one person to the next aren't upgrading. They're escaping. They didn't fix themselves. They didn't suddenly figure out love. They didn't become a better partner overnight. They just found someone who doesn't know their flaws yet. Because let's be honest, when someone leaves you for someone else, they're not looking for depth. They're looking for distraction. They're chasing a feeling, not a future. And feelings change. I know right now it's hard to believe. You're stuck in that dark place, wondering if you were the problem, wondering if maybe, just maybe, they were right to leave. And that fear, it's lying to you. Because the truth is, it was never about you. It was about their inability to appreciate what they had. It was about their addiction to the high of something new. It was about their own emptiness, one that no new person, no new relationship, and no new thrill will ever be able to fill. Trust me, one day they will feel it. One day that shiny new relationship won't feel so exciting anymore. One day the new person won't laugh at all their jokes like you did. One day they'll look over at this upgrade and start remembering what they lost. And by then it will be too late. But here's what you need to do now. Stop believing the lie that they're happier without you. The lie that they found something better. The lie that you were easy to replace, because you, my friend, were never the problem. So say it with me. I am not replaceable. Write it in the comments. Own it. Live it. And if you think this was powerful, just wait until you hear what's coming next, because we're about to talk about the one thing that destroys them the most. The moment when the honeymoon phase starts to crumble. Stay with me. We're just getting started. The high always fades. Nothing new stays new forever. The shine always wears off. And when it does, reality hits hard. Right now, they're floating high off the thrill of something new, feeling invincible, convinced they made the right choice. They're laughing more, posting more, acting like they've never been happier. And you? You're watching from the outside, wondering if maybe, just maybe, they were right to leave. Maybe this new person really is better. Maybe you were the problem. Maybe love isn't about depth, but about excitement, about always chasing the next thrill. But let me tell you something, my friend. Excitement isn't love, and highs never last. Imagine a kid who gets a brand new toy. The moment they see it, their eyes light up, their heart races, and for a while it's the only thing they care about. They carry it everywhere, show it off, feel lucky to have it. But then something happens. The novelty fades, the excitement wears off. That toy, which once made them feel on top of the world, starts to feel like just another thing lying around. It doesn't give them the same rush anymore, and suddenly they're looking for something else, something new, something that makes them feel alive again. That's exactly what's happening in their new relationship right now. Because here's the truth. They don't want to admit. They didn't fall in love with a person, they fell in love with a feeling. The feeling of being wanted, of being chosen, of being excited about something fresh. Let's be real. The beginning of any relationship is a rush. The late-night conversations feel endless. Every touch feels electric. Every moment seems like it was pulled straight out of a movie. It's called the honeymoon phase, and it's the biggest lie people believe in love. They think because it feels so good it must mean something deep, something real, something lasting. But what they don't realize yet is that the high they're riding isn't love. It's dopamine. Dopamine is the brain chemical that makes new things feel exciting. It's what makes a first kiss feel like fireworks, what makes a fresh relationship seem like the best thing in the world. But here's the problem. Dopamine doesn't last. The brain gets used to whatever is new. What was once thrilling becomes routine. The laughter that once felt magical turns into just another conversation. The little quirks they found adorable at first soon start to get on their nerves. And just like that, the rush starts to fade, the spark starts to die, and the high starts to crash. When that moment comes, that's when they start remembering you. Because here's what they don't see yet. You weren't just a thrill, you were depth. You weren't just newness, you were realness. You weren't just someone they had fun with, you were someone they built something with. And when that high wears off and reality sets in, they'll start comparing. They'll start realizing that the new person doesn't listen to them the way you did. They don't understand their moods the way you did. They don't have the same effortless connection that made them feel seen, safe, and understood. And that's when it will hit them. They didn't upgrade. They just reset the clock on the same cycle. But let me tell you what's really going to get to them. It's not just the fact that the excitement fades, it's the fact that while their new relationship is falling into routine, you are rising. See, they expect you to be stuck. They expect you to be checking their page, crying over what was lost, feeling like you'll never find someone better. But the moment they realize you're not just okay without them, but actually thriving without them, that's when the regret begins. Because people don't feel the weight of their decisions when they think they've won. They feel it when they see that what they left behind wasn't a loss for you. It was a loss for them. I know right now it doesn't feel like it. It feels like they're on top of the world while you're trying to figure out how to even move forward. But trust me, time has a way of exposing everything. That high will wear off. That thrill will fade. And when it does, they're going to look back and realize that nothing they've found compares to what they left behind. And you, my friend, will be too far ahead to care. Say it with me. I do not chase. I do not beg. I do not break. Write it in the comments. Own it. Live it. Because what's coming next? It's the part they never see coming. The moment when they start comparing and realize they lost something they can never replace. Stay with me. We're just getting started. They didn't replace you. They just delayed the realization that no one else will ever be you. At first, they convinced themselves they found something better. They told themselves this new person was everything you weren't, that they finally leveled up, that they moved on to something more exciting, more fulfilling, more right for them. But what they don't realize yet is that comparison is coming for them. And when it does, it's going to hit them in ways they never expected. Here's the thing about people who replace others quickly. They don't actually move on, they just distract themselves long enough to ignore what they lost. Distraction only works for so long. Right now they're enjoying the newness, the laughter, the feeling of someone else looking at them like they're special. Everything seems perfect. The texts are constant, the attention is high, and the thrill of starting fresh is intoxicating. They feel validated, chosen, like they've made the right decision. But what they don't see yet is that this isn't love. It's a rerun of the same story they've told themselves before. Because the truth is, they didn't leave to find something better. They left to avoid facing themselves. Sooner or later, they're going to see it. It always starts small. One random moment when they're sitting with this new person mid-conversation, and out of nowhere, your voice echoes in their head. Oh, maybe it's the way you used to laugh at their dumb jokes, or how you knew exactly what to say when they were stressed, or how you could read them without them even having to speak. They push the thought away, tell themselves it's nothing, convince themselves that this new situation is just as good, if not better. But then it happens again and again and again. Suddenly they can't stop comparing. They start noticing the things they once took for granted, the way you understood them, the way you made them feel safe, the way you brought out the best in them. Worst of all, they start realizing that this new person isn't filling the space they thought they would. Imagine this. You walk into a high-end restaurant and see someone sitting at a table, staring at a plate of food they once thought was a 5-star meal. But as they take another bite, the taste starts to change. What was once exciting now feels bland. The flavors don't hit the same way. They pick at the food, trying to convince themselves it's great, that it was worth choosing. But deep down, they know it doesn't compare. And the worst part, the meal they once had, the one they pushed away, is not on the menu anymore. That's exactly what's happening to them now. The human mind has a way of romanticizing the past once the excitement of the present starts to wear off. At first, they thought they were free, that they had escaped, that they were stepping into a new and improved chapter. But now they're realizing they didn't escape anything. They just put themselves in the same cycle with a different person. And when they finally admit that, that's when the regret starts creeping in. That's when they start scrolling through old messages, replaying old conversations, trying to remember the details of what they once had but took for granted. And that's when they start wondering if they made a mistake. But here's the part that will haunt them the most. It's not just that they lost you, it's that they lost the version of you that still cared. Because while they were busy convincing themselves that they made the right choice, you were growing, healing, stepping into a version of yourself that no longer waits, no longer wonders, and no longer gives energy to people who didn't see your worth the first time. And now they're the ones left wondering. They're the ones checking your page, looking for signs, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you still care. But when they see nothing, when they realize you've moved forward without looking back, that's when it truly hits them. Because nothing haunts a person more than the realization that they threw away something they could never get back. I know right now it might feel like they're winning, like they've moved on effortlessly, while you're left dealing with the weight of their choice. But trust me, that feeling is temporary. Because no matter how hard they try to convince themselves that they made the right decision, time has a way of exposing the truth. When it does, they're going to see what they lost, and by then, you'll be too far ahead to care. So say it with me. They will compare, and they will regret. Write it in the comments, own it, live it. What's coming next? Oh, it's the part they never saw coming. The moment when their new relationship starts to crumble and the reality of their choices finally hits them. They thought they could replace you, but they can't. You don't replace something rare. You don't replace something real. You only realize its value when it's too late. They walked away like it was nothing, like you were just another stop on their way to something greater, like love was a vending machine where they could just insert a coin and get something newer, shinier, and more exciting whenever they wanted. In their minds, they convinced themselves that you were replaceable, that what you gave them was standard, that they could find someone else to give them the same love, the same loyalty, the same presence. But what they don't understand yet is that you weren't a copy-paste kind of person. You were the original, and no matter how much they try to act like they've upgraded, the truth is creeping in. They didn't replace you, they just delayed the realization that no one else will ever be you. Right now, they're still riding the illusion. The "this time it's different" lie that they're desperately holding on to. They've convinced themselves that their new relationship is the answer to everything, that this person is exactly what they've been looking for. But here's what always happens. Time exposes everything. Time will show them that what they're in now is not better. It's just new. And new doesn't mean deep. New doesn't mean real. New doesn't mean love. They thought they could take everything you gave them, all the warmth, all the security, all the energy, and just find it somewhere else. But what they're starting to realize is that not everyone loves like you did. Not everyone shows up like you did. Not everyone will tolerate their flaws, understand their moods, or support their dreams the way you did. And that realization is going to hurt. Imagine someone who loses a rare watch, one that was custom made, one of a kind, built just for them. At first, they shrug it off. They tell themselves it's fine, that they'll just go buy another one, that they'll find something even better. So they go out and pick up a flashy new watch, something that looks good, something trendy. But then, as they wear it, they start noticing things. The weight isn't the same. The feel isn't the same. It doesn't sit right on their wrist, and it doesn't hold the same meaning. Then it hits them. What they had before wasn't just another watch. It was rare, it was valuable, and it was theirs. But by the time they realize that, it's too late because someone else now has what they once took for granted. That's what's happening to them, even if they don't see it yet. They thought they could just slide someone else into your spot and keep it moving. But what they don't understand is that connection isn't something you can manufacture. The love you gave them was built, it was earned, and it was something they'll never get again. They thought they could find another you, that love was something that came in unlimited supply, that good people, good hearts, and deep connections were everywhere. But now they're realizing they don't make them like you anymore. I know right now you're still in the phase where it feels like they got the happy ending and you got left behind. It feels like they moved forward without hesitation, like they didn't even blink before replacing you. And that feeling, it's crushing. It's making you question your worth, making you wonder if maybe you weren't enough. If maybe they really did find something better. But listen to me, you were never the one who lost here. Because a person who can throw away something valuable without thinking is someone who was never meant to have it in the first place. One day, when the distractions run out, when the excitement fades, when they finally sit alone with their thoughts, that's when it's going to hit them. They had something rare, something real, something that doesn't come around twice, and now they can't get it back. And you know what the best part is? You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to play games. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to make them see what they lost. Because time is already handling that for you. While they're sitting there realizing they can't replace you, that they can't recreate what you two had, that they made the biggest mistake of their life, you'll be too busy becoming someone they'll never have access to again. Say it with me. I am irreplaceable. They will feel my absence. Write it in the comments. Own it. Live it. What's coming next? Oh, it's the part that destroys them the most. The moment when your silence speaks louder than their choices. Stay with me. We're just getting started. A relationship built on lies will crumble. What starts in deception will end in destruction. The foundation they built was never strong enough to last. Right now, they think they've won. They're living in their own little fantasy, convinced that this new relationship is everything they've ever wanted. They're posting more, smiling wider, pretending like they've finally found their perfect match. But what they don't realize yet is that a relationship built on betrayal, on convenience, on the thrill of escape was never built to last. They may not see it yet, but the cracks are already forming. The foundation is already weak. Sooner or later, it's all going to come crashing down. Because here's the thing about people who jump from one person to the next without healing, without self-awareness, without ever taking a moment to reflect. They don't grow, they don't evolve, they don't fix the patterns that made them leave in the first place. They think the problem was you. They tell themselves that if they could just find someone else, someone new, someone who doesn't challenge them, who doesn't call them out, who doesn't see their flaws yet, then they'll finally be happy. But what they don't understand is that happiness isn't found in a new person. It's found in facing yourself. They ran away instead. Imagine this. A house built on cheap materials, rushed together without any real foundation, just to look pretty on the outside. At first it seems fine. The walls are standing, the paint is fresh, the floors are polished. But over time the cracks begin to show. The roof starts leaking, the foundation starts sinking, and the entire structure becomes unstable because it was never solid to begin with. That's exactly what's happening with their new relationship. On the surface, it looks good. It looks strong. It seems like it was the right choice. But underneath, it's hollow. There's no depth, no history, no real bond holding it together. And when the first real test comes, when real life struggles hit, when the honeymoon phase fades, when the masks come off, they're going to see the truth. This was never real. This was never better. This was just a distraction. I know what you're thinking. If they're so unhappy, why do they look so in love? Why do they seem so happy together? Why does it seem like they've truly moved on while you're still here trying to figure out a heal? But let me ask you something. Do people who are truly happy need to prove it to the world? Do people who are truly fulfilled need to keep putting on a show? If their love was so real, if their connection was so deep, why does it feel like a performance? Because that's exactly what it is. A desperate attempt to convince themselves and everyone else that they made the right choice. But deep down, they know. And here's what they don't see coming. The same way they got this person is the same way they'll lose them. Because relationships that start with betrayal, dishonesty, and selfishness don't just magically become something pure. If they lied to be together, if they used this new person to escape from the emptiness they felt inside, if they thought running away from their problems would somehow create something healthy, then they're in for a rude awakening. Because a relationship that starts in deception ends in destruction. That's not karma. That's just the way life works. If they could leave you so easily, what makes them think they won't be left the same way? If they could betray you without a second thought, what makes them think they won't be betrayed too? The cycle always repeats itself. And when it does, they're going to feel exactly what they made you feel. But by then, you won't care. Because while their relationship is slowly breaking apart, while they're sitting there realizing they gave up something real for something temporary, while they're finally feeling the loss they thought they'd never feel, you will be rising. You will be stronger, wiser, untouchable. You will be the version of yourself that no longer even sees them as relevant. And that is what will haunt them the most. Because they expected to still have power over you. They expected you to be watching, waiting. But instead, they'll realize that the only person still looking back is them. So say it with me. What they built will crumble, and I will rise. Write it in the comments. Own it. Because what's coming next, it's the part they never expected. The moment when they try to come back only to realize you are already gone. Stay with me. We're just getting started. They always come back, but by the time they do, you won't be there anymore. At first, they won't feel it. At first, they'll convince themselves they made the right choice. They'll ride the high of something new, convinced that they've upgraded, convinced that leaving you behind was the best decision they ever made. They'll act like they're free, like they've stepped into something bigger, something better, something that makes them feel alive again. And for a while, they'll believe it. But time has a funny way of revealing the truth. Soon, the excitement will wear off, the routine will set in, and the reality of who they are. The same person who ran from real love, the same person who thought they could replace something rare, will start creeping in. And that's when they'll feel it. That's when they'll start wondering about you. That's when they'll realize they never really moved on. It starts with a memory, a random moment when they least expect it. Maybe it's a song playing in the background that takes them back to a car ride with you, singing off key, laughing at something only the two of you would understand. Maybe it's walking past a place you two used to go together, and suddenly they're flooded with the way it felt to be with you, the way you made them feel seen, understood, safe. Maybe it's nothing at all, just silence, just a quiet night where, for the first time, they have no distractions, no new thrill to keep their mind occupied. And in that silence, they feel the emptiness. They feel what they tried to run from. They feel the weight of what they lost. That's when it hits them. You weren't just another person in their life. You were the person they should have never let go. At first, they'll try to push it down. They'll tell themselves it's just nostalgia, just a passing thought, just their mind playing tricks on them. The more they try to ignore it, the louder it gets. They start checking your page, scrolling through old photos, wondering if you still think about them, if you still miss them, if you'd still pick up if they reached out. When they realize you don't, that's when the real panic sets in. Because now you're not just someone they left behind. Now you're the one who got away. Imagine this. You walk into your favorite store, the one that always had what you needed, always had what you loved. You assumed it would always be there, so you never really appreciated it while you had it. But one day you show up, and it's gone, no sign, no explanation, just gone. Suddenly, you realize the store wasn't just another option. It was the one. That's exactly how they'll feel when they finally reach for you, only to find that you're no longer within their reach. And let me tell you how it's going to happen. It won't be some grand dramatic moment. It won't be a big apology with flowers and speeches about how they were wrong. It'll be something subtle. A random message at 1 a.m. A like on your post from months ago, a weak attempt to start a conversation out of nowhere. When you see it, you'll feel that old version of yourself, the one that would have held on to hope, the one that would have jumped at the chance to fix things, to prove your worth, to get closure. But this time, you won't feel the same. This time, their message won't make your heart race. This time, you won't wonder what it means. You won't waste hours overthinking it, because this time, you know exactly what it means. They lost you, and now they're realizing it. But the most powerful thing you can do, nothing, no response, no reaction, no explanation. Because their biggest punishment isn't losing you. But now, they're just another ghost in your past. And that will haunt them more than anything else ever could. I know right now it might feel like they have all the power, like they got to walk away without consequences, like you're the one still carrying the weight of what happened. But trust me, time always shifts the balance. And when it does, they're going to be the ones who feel exactly what you felt. By then, you'll be too far ahead to care. So say it with me. By the time they realize what they lost, I'll be too far ahead to care. Write it in the comments. Own it. Live it. Because what's coming next? Oh, it's the part that finally breaks them. The moment when they realize not only did they lose you, but they lost the best thing they ever had. Stay with me, we're just getting started. You don't realize the value of gold when you're too busy chasing pennies. At first, they don't see it. At first, they tell themselves they made the right choice, that walking away from you was the smartest thing they ever did. They convince themselves that their new relationship is everything they were missing, that they finally found what they were looking for, that this time it's different. They feel confident, certain, untouchable. But time has a way of humbling people. When the distractions fade, when the excitement settles, when the newness of their situation wears off, they're left with nothing but the reality of what they gave up. And that's when it hits them. You were the best they ever had, and they let you go like you were nothing. At first, they'll try to fight it. They'll tell themselves they don't care, that they don't miss you, that they've moved on. But then the little things start creeping in. They hear your favorite song on the radio, and suddenly they're back in the car with you, singing at the top of your lungs, windows down, feeling free in a way they haven't felt since. They see someone in a crowd who looks like you, just for a second, and their heart skips a beat before they realize it's not you. They reach for their phone at night, scrolling, looking, hoping, only to find that you're no longer there. And that's when the panic starts. That's when they begin to understand that what they had with you wasn't just another love story. It was the real thing, and now it's gone. They thought they could find another you. They thought love was something they could replace, like a lost jacket, something they could pick up again whenever they wanted. They thought someone else would make them feel the way you did, would love them with the same depth, the same patience, the same loyalty. But now they see it. People like you don't come around twice. No matter how hard they try, they will never recreate what they had with you. Imagine this: a gambler sits at a casino table, playing with a steady hand, winning little by little, building up something solid. But greed whispers in their ear, telling them they can do better, telling them to go all in. So they take what they have, push it to the center of the table, and bet everything on one roll of the dice. In that moment, they feel unstoppable, certain that they're about to win big. But then they lose everything they had. Gone. And as they walk away empty-handed, they look back at the table, where they once had something valuable, something secure, something real. And now they can't get it back. That's exactly what just happened to them. Because they weren't just in a relationship with you. They were with someone who truly cared. Someone who saw them, someone who gave them a love that wasn't shallow, wasn't temporary, and wasn't built on convenience. Now, when they look at the person they chose over you, they start noticing the differences. The way conversations don't flow as easily, the way the comfort isn't there, the way something just feels off. No matter how hard they try to ignore it, deep down they know they traded something priceless for something temporary. And let me tell you what's really going to haunt them. It's not just that they lost you, it's that you stopped caring. Because the moment they realize they made a mistake, they'll do what everyone does when regret catches up to them. They'll test the waters. Maybe they'll reach out, send a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" message like nothing happened. Maybe they'll like an old picture just to see if you notice. Maybe they'll find some excuse to start a conversation, pretending they don't have an agenda when really they're hoping for another chance. But by then, you won't be there anymore. Because the person they remember the one who would have jumped at the chance to fix things, who would have held on to hope, who would have let them back in without hesitation, that version of you is gone. And in its place is someone stronger, someone who no longer waits for people to realize their worth, someone who sees their own value so clearly that they no longer need someone else to confirm it. That's what will break them. Not just the regret, not just the realization, but the truth that they can never have you back. I know right now you might still feel the weight of their decision. You might still have moments where you wonder if they're happier, if they ever think about you, if they'll ever realize what they lost. But trust me, they will. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. One day, when they least expect it, it will hit them like a wave they can't escape. And when it does, you'll be too far ahead to care. So say it with me. I was the best they ever had, and I'm never looking back. Write it in the comments. Own it, live it, live it. Because what's coming next? Oh, it's the part that truly finishes them. The moment when you build a life so powerful, so untouchable, that they realize they didn't just lose you. They lost the best version of you. Stay with me. We're just getting started.